Hey, Warrior Strong, how are you? Life is alright. Honestly, I'm just kind of tired. How are you? I'm glad you're doing good. It's been so hot lately. How's the weather over there? Hey, Speedlight, Luca. Anything fun recently? I was supposed to go to Disneyland again over the weekend, but my aunts took so long shopping, we decided just to go to a different day. So hopefully I'll go to Disney again sometime within the next 2 weeks. Or sometime this month, I'd say. How are you? Welcome in that one, dude. Hey, Zav. Welcome in Snacks for the Brain. Favorite movie? Oh, that reminds me. I did watch the Spider-Man movie over the weekend. I watched it twice in the same day. It was really good. Favorite movie? I like Avengers Endgame. Welcome into Torto Patrol. Welcome in Wavy. How are you? Welcome in Nino. A movie from my childhood. My favorite movie from my childhood is Pokemon the first movie. Thanks, Mind Snacks for the Brain. Hi, Wavy. How are you? Hey, Brandon. Um, I mean, I take a compliment that I look youthful. Now, as to whether I want to look 16 to 18, I don't. Simply because I don't want to attract that crowd. But looking youthful in general is a nice thing. Hey, Hashrama. I think Pepsi and Coke taste the same. No, I haven't drank Pepsi or Coke in a long time. I stopped drinking soda maybe like 12 years ago. But from what I remember, I think Pepsi tastes more sweet than Coke. They don't taste the same to me, from what I remember. Hey, Cadets. Good night, Cadets. Yeah, I have a sweet tooth, but I think me stopping, or since I have stopped drinking soda. Oh, see? And like I said, I don't even drink anymore, and that's what from what I remember. But like I was saying, despite me having a sweet tooth, I feel like I offset that by just not drinking soda. If I can have any superpower, what would it be? Bending time and space. I don't know if anyone here. Oh, hey, Kevin. I don't know if anyone here is familiar with the show Heroes back in like 2000. I want to say 2008, 2009. It first came out 2009, but there was a reboot, I think like 2016. And that, I forgot his name, that Asian guy, he basically, that's the power I wanted. I do Indian Go. What's the hardest lesson I've learned? The hardest lesson I've learned is that you will outgrow people and you need to choose yourself. And what I mean by that is, as you grow up, specifically in my personal experience in my 20s, um, you start figuring out what you want in your life. And as you, yes, exactly. So you do remember, Wavy. Nice. She was cute too. Anyways, um, yeah. So as you grow up, at least in my 20s, I experienced friendship heartbreak where the things that I like to do in my life and the things that I didn't like in my life, I had to basically remove the things I didn't like and align myself with the things I like. And, in short, it's basically that, you know, as much as you want to keep the crowd that you're around, the crowd that who has been with you since day one. I am 31. you eventually, you're gonna have to choose a hard decision, whether stay in that crowd while also, um, kind of holding yourself back versus just going full throttle and just trying to, focus in on what you want. Hey, Carve. Hey, Mina. I'm 31. Carve, like card, both with an F and N. Hi, Minite? Minite? Or Minute? Welcome in, always love you, XO. Is it my night? Minute. Thoughts on knowing. Thoughts on knowing you need to do something, but it requires a lot of effort, so you keep putting it off. So essentially, procrastination. I mean, I definitely do that. I'm definitely in that rut right now, where, in my experience, and I can only speak from my experience, where essentially I got depressed, so then I became kind of no longer used to the work ethic I once had. So now when I am trying to focus in or hone in onto something that I know I need to do, I find it very strenuous, or I find it hard for me to actually do. How do I look so young? Genetics. Thanks, Lazy Apple. So, yeah, honestly, it's just do it or don't do it mentality. There's this book called, I have it on my desk, The Courage to Be Disliked, by Ichiro Kashimi and Fumitake Koga. And in this book, it talks about how everything you do is what you want to do. And even when you procrastinate, you are still doing essentially what you want to do. So as much as you say you want to be a millionaire, you want, certain things. I mean, let's say, for example, aside from things like, I want to say that's unattainable, like, let's say something that's out of your hands, getting free healthcare. I don't know, this is just random. But as for striving to who you want to be, whether it is being an engineer, being a doctor, if you are not striving for the identity or you're not working towards the identity, then you just don't want it enough. Hey, Stray Kids, how are you? My opinion on Kim Jong Un, not a fan. His sister is even crazier. Honestly, his sister is, I think, the most dangerous woman in the world. Do I think Pluto has like microscopic life? Unsure. As far as we know, as far as I know that we know, I don't think so. I'm doing all right. Honestly, I'm a bit anxious for whatever reason. I'm not sure. Is water wet? No, water is not wet. You didn't type that, so you're just copying and pasting? Yo, is this Carf's? Is this Carf's group? What did I do when I was 15? That was 2010. 2010, this was right after the recession crisis. I mean, I was a sophomore slash junior from what I remember. I mean, I just went to school and went home. I don't think I did anything particularly fun at age 15. I am 31. No, I don't remember that, Gio. Am I happy in life? In general, sort of. But am I content with it? No. Thanks, Zach. I appreciate you. Bye. You meant what year was I born? 1995. Is grades in high school that important? It depends if you want to go to college. If you are striving to go straight to a prestigious, college, university, then yes. Mainly your sophomore year, sorry, your junior year is most important, then sophomore, then freshman, then senior, in that order for me. But all years are important. Does my back hurt? Sometimes. I am not married. How would I define Asian masculinity? I mean, I guess I've never really thought of exclusive, masculinity in terms of Asian versus Caucasian versus black versus, whatever ethnicity or race you want to define it as. I just always umbrella the entire masculinity. But as far as Asian masculinity, no one's ever asked me that. I never really thought about it. I do support people in the LGBTQIA2 plus. I am really 31. What would I define as necessary to be successful by the age of 31? It really depends. I mean, some people they want to have kids, some people they don't want to have kids. I think a general good idea is that you have tried a lot by the age of 31. Tried a lot of different types of jobs, have been under different employers. You definitely, I would say, at least needs to have your license or some reliable mode of transportation. Um, you need to have experienced different forms of work. Um, you know, either living by yourself or taking care of your parents, or essentially providing in a manner where you have provided for someone other than yourself, or just provided for yourself. Hi, Ali. I know I'm not verified. Oh, wait, you're not Verity? I forgot what Verity is. Did I have strict parents or chill parents? I had strict and chill parents. Like, it depends on what I did. But I think, in comparison to what a strict and chill parent is, I think more leaning towards strict parents. I'm 31. What would you do in case of an alien invasion? I mean, if it's my time to go, it's my time to go. Can I be an alien in a fist fight? No. Hey, Patricia, how are you? Have you ever been a part of the Asian train at EDM Fest? I've never been to an EDM festival. I mean, I look the way I look, Vaz. It is what it is. What would I do if I can go back to being 16 years old? Well, when I was 16 versus 16-year-olds today is very much different. The life I've lived at 16, where there was no AI, I mean, the only social media was Facebook and Snapchat for the most part. I guess Instagram too. Um, so if I was 16 today, though, I feel like I might be cringier than my 16-year-old self back then, which is crazy. I'm really 31, as in 3-1, as in 25 plus 6. Did I waste my life thus far? I mean, I've traveled to around 15 to 18 countries. I've, you know, eaten a lot of exquisite luxury foods. Um, yeah, I mean, it depends on what you describe as a waste. Will I redo my life for $1 million? I think I'd rather redo my life just even for free, to be honest. Would I change anything in the past that you did during being 16? Hmm. So academically, I wasn't like the best kid. I didn't do my work. Like I was smart. Had AP classes and honors classes, but I just didn't like doing homework or schoolwork in general. I would probably would have tried to, actually try to aim for a specific college because for me, I didn't want to go to college, and I ended up going to college simply because my parents wanted me to go. Hey, Jalen. Now I visited him in person. Meaningless. Hey, Ari, how are you? Thanks, Rehab. Depends on what you're talking about, Jacob. If you're talking about cat, I'd rather have a cat or a feline that has hair. You know those cats that like have no hair and it's all just wrinkly? Those scare me. Is it bad that you went to college and you didn't like it? No. It depends on, I guess, why you didn't like it. I'm sure there's definitely, valid reasons why someone wouldn't like the college scene. Hi, good night, Carf. Bye. And good night, Carf's friends. Am I satisfied with my life at 31? Currently, no, to be honest. Favorite YouTuber? I like someone named Pearl. She does a lot of content on like emotional maturity and emotional awareness. I don't know who that is found. Don't know where Foy is. Why not fake being happy? Because for me, so for example, right now, how I'm acting right now is essentially how I would act in real life. If we ever were to meet in real life, the version of who I am that you see right now online on the stream is very much the same person as in real life. So I'm not good at like faking my mood. To me, that's just all performative performance. What you see is what you get. How I act is exactly how I feel for the most part. If gonna roll an estimate on how much. So it says ask me almost anything. You can't ask me anything sexual and nothing personal. So that's a personal question, it ends. Does it get better? I believe so. Yeah, I want to keep it real. Thanks, Tired Below Night. How many questions and opinions should not be asked? I mean, it is what it is, CC. If I become famous, what will I do? Honestly, I already promised every single person who I generally do remember all my day ones or people who have supported me somewhat consistently. Like, I really am very much a person who pays it back or pays it forward. So, if I ever end up, I guess I don't say the hood because I don't live in the hood, but if I were ever to, in a way, get out of the hood, in a sense of me moving up into, I don't know, out of District 12, I would definitely you know share my wealth. How do I sound when I'm excited? That's really hard. I'm honestly really tired right now. When I'm really excited, I think you could really tell in my eyes. Does it get better? Yes. um for the most part, I would say pro-choice. Like, I am also pro-life, but there is certain circumstances where pro-choice makes more sense. I am 31. Do you do you should be productive at your 20s and don't waste time, or you can chill? I mean, I think you can chill, but the one thing about your 20s is all about you trying new things. If you have a boring life or you don't like your life or you think that you don't know what to do, try new things. Oh, we're definitely gonna make it out. Rusty Shuffleboard. I honestly am getting kind of fed up with where I currently am. And from the start of 16, what made me afraid of women? Who said that? Rehab. LA or Utah? I've been to Utah once, so I don't have an exact opinion on Utah. But I mean, as far as what I know about Utah, about like the Mormons and all the other crazy things that happen there, I mean, LA is also crazy. But I was born and raised in LA. Starting university, got any advice? My advice is to not rely on AI. As much as AI will help you in furthering your understanding of certain things, use AI simply as a tool, but not as something to do, to answer everything. On which circumstances makes more sense? Gilberto, you need to rephrase. I don't know the context of what your question is about. Why why do you think women are attracted to me? Is that personal or is that a question to me? Do things get better mental health wise? You need to put yourself in an environment where you are supported. That's only really the only way. If you are constantly in an environment or surrounded by people who don't like you, it's going to reflect greatly on your mental health. LA or Spain or UK or Italy or France or Croatia or Greece. In terms of the places I've traveled, the best place I've traveled from all of those is either Italy or Greece. Abortion wise, so in the case where a woman gets raped, and to me, I feel like that's a case where it should be allowed, for an abortion, or whether it's to save the mother's life. I think that's also a valid reason. I do not have kids. I don't like coffee. Oh, it's for me. Why do you think women aren't attracted to me? I, to me, it's not. I think people are having a misconception. So just because I've been single my entire life, it's not that women aren't attractive. It was simply because at up until the age of 23, personally for me, I was very insecure, and then after 23, I mean, I've been so picky because I haven't done anything. I feel like I shouldn't waste it simply on just anyone. So, in in a sort of, I guess, sunken fallacy cost thing, where because I haven't experienced it and I know it's something I want a special event for, I'd rather save it for something that's special rather than just do it just because. Like, if you don't like me, if you think my value as a human or as a man or whatever is less because of that, that's personally your problem. Hey, Bob. What would you tell 20-year-old me? I would tell 20-year-old me to buy Bitcoin because I knew a Bitcoin back when I was 20 years old. Actually, back when I was in my teens. How to deal with loneliness? I I want to say because it depends on like where you live. You need to actively, you need to have hobbies, and then even outside of those hobbies, you need to socialize or join a community where you could share those hobbies and those experiences. Would I have kids? Yeah. You want to know what? Jay Colson. Thanks for the follow, Gilberto. Am I nervous around social environments in public? No. I'm more of an extrovert than an introvert. Hey, Foyam. You shouldn't get a lot of hate. I do believe that everyone deserves a minimum of, respect, even if you disagree with them. No problem, Foyam. What felt nice? Colson. Sorry, all the times where, someone is adding someone, I did not read your comment. So I try to read everyone's comments, but whenever I see an at someone, I kind of skip it because I'm assuming that you have your own conversation. Oh, neither. I don't think neither of them really gamble, to be honest. They like hard-boiled eggs are soft. Why do I feel like I've heard of this question from an anime? From Sakamoto days. I think, yes. I think one of the assassins in Sakamoto days asked this question. I mean, what even is a soft egg? I need to know what your definition of a soft egg is. I'm sorry to hear that, Nico. I mean, I lived in California my entire life, so although I've been in red states, I don't know. I cannot speak or even assume your own experiences. So I'm not exactly sure what advice to give you, to be honest, Nico. Will it feel good in a hot pocket? Define it. He said, would it feel good in a hot pocket? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. I don't do guest requests. Sorry, bro. Like, he boiled for less than a minute, so it's a little solid, but not completely runny. Oh, yeah, it has to be hard boiled then. I mean, it doesn't have to be, like, completely hard, but when it's, like, a little runny and I, like, peel it off, to me, it like, disgusts me. Should Chinese buffets only serve Asian food, or should they serve American food? I mean, it's a Chinese buffet, so I think Chinese buffets should serve Chinese food. Like, it's asking if an American restaurant should serve something that's not American. How's life after high school? It is whatever you make it is. See Jake Holson. What's my greatest achievement? Speaking to people out of suicide. Sorry to hear that, Nico. No, I cannot PayPal you at $20. Thanks, Lena Law. Does mental health get better as you grow up? Again, mental health only gets better when you surround yourself or you put yourself in an environment that supports you. And at the same time, you believe in yourself. I know I'm behind in comments. Alright, Jake Olson. Thanks, Polly. Why aren't we asking the real questions? Like, why do you always feel like an option? You probably feel like an option because you give yourself to people who are self-centered and selfish. So often, more times than not, they will choose themselves and prioritize themselves, which is Not necessarily a bad thing, but they would do it, at a heartbeat. So they have like no empathy. So you gotta treat yourself as a privilege, not an option. Thanks for the follow, Nico. No, I would not go to a maid cafe. What do you think about being 31? I mean, it's just every age after 27 kind of felt the same. No problem, Stray Kids. He's a TikTok pavement. He's the first person to teach us about people in his same position. I don't know what happened. He said, "Wait, is there talk any?" He said, people choosing self-harm or something that's obviously really bad, it varies from person to person, and there's not necessarily an answer that fits everyone. But know that you hold value as a person, as a human, regardless of whatever you identify as. You intrinsically hold value. Like, there is a place for you in this world. That's too difficult. You'd feel selfish yourself. So, I mean, okay, sorry. I'm going through so many comments. I'm sorry if I'm responding to the wrong context, Jimmy. But I assume that you're the one who said, "Why do you always feel like an option?" You also, I guess, to piggyback off what I said, you also need to put yourself in a situation or around people who hold value for you. So not only are they just using you, because I mean, essentially everyone uses people, right? In some way. But as feeling valued, feeling like you contribute to something, rather than, let's say, for example, I have a friend who, let's say, for example, I don't know how to drive and I have a friend who drives. Instead of using that friend just to take me places or just to hang out, but always using him or her and then never like paying gas or whatever, in a way, I won't really make them feel valued. Like, I'll make them feel used, but unless I am contributing in the activity or in their helping of me, they may not feel as valued or not as seen as it would be if you don't do anything. I currently do not have a girlfriend. What advice you need, Min Min? Talking people also is a huge achievement. Thanks, Bob. Can you ask me funny questions? You can. I mean, I think I just have a gift of just being very patient with people. And my advice for someone who's turning 20 soon, your 20s is all about trial and error, you trying to figure out yourself, discover yourself. The reason why a lot of people say that young adults, their best asset or best resource is time is simply because if you make a mistake, you have a lot of time to, pay it off or to get out of it. But when you get older, as much as you could still, learn and learn from that mistake, it is harder because you don't have the resource of time is not as plenty as when you're young. You should eat with your mouth closed because it's disgusting to see food in your mouth when you're chewing openly. Sorry to hear that, Nico. I don't know what Saquon F4 is. But because you want to learn it. Honestly, that's smart, Jovan. It is very smart, in my opinion, to buy an older car and, learning how to drive or, just kind of getting into the habit of how to drive. I think it's a valuable lesson that you will teach yourself, not just in learning on how to drive, but also even like managing finances. Because honestly, auto loans is one of the worst things that, in my opinion, people can get. People will buy like a Mercedes or a BMW that's out of their budget, and honestly, you are gonna pay so much interest on that. It's gonna be like having a student loan. Hey, bye, Stray Kids. Okay, if you give unconditional, it's a problem. Are you saying you are a people pleaser, Jimmy? Is that what I'm hearing? Yep, 32 is next. The most dangerous food I've ever eaten. The most dangerous food I've ever eaten. Taco Bell. Is it able to ridicule who actively seeks help in his active mental illness? When you say actively seeks help, are they actively putting them in a situation that they are actually receiving help, or are they just look like they're seeking help? Because it could also be a performance, you know. A lot of people, for example, a lot of people go to people and ask, "Oh, what do you think about this? What do you think I should do?" And in short, they just want the attention, and then yes, get advice, but will they act on that advice? Rather than someone who's actively striving and already has a plan that's being active and also seeking help or seeking advice. Hey Barnes, I remember you from a long time ago. I don't know if you're the same Barnes. Car, okay. And that's good, Van. Cars are actually pretty expensive nowadays. Do you think this young generation is a downfall? Yes, I do. Simply because they are mostly they are illiterate. That is their downfall. Out of everything, as much as you would want to blame AI or you want to blame the current economy, their main downfall is their illiteracy. I have never heard of that, Nico, so I don't know. Yeah, Min, sorry, I haven't seen your comment or question. I know you said you wanted to ask for advice, but I didn't see anything. If you're getting filtered, feel free to DM me. Just let me know that you DM'd me so I could check my DMs and read it from there. YSL, EDP, or Valentino. I don't really wear cologne, so I don't know. I don't know how to, what the smell or fragrance of either of those. How to take care of mentally healthy while being busy. I mean, that could mean a lot of things. So whether you are working, let's say, many hours per week, you are a parent who is balancing work and kids. Can I get more context, Min? How do you stop your, I don't know what an HBS is. I don't know what that is. Yeah. You know, the younger Gen Z and younger people, Gen Alpha, they are the first generation to underperform their predecessors. So typically, every generation is more sharper or like smarter than their predecessors. And it's the first time in history where a generation is behind. I am Asian. No, I don't know what that is, alphabet. I am 31. I'm a cable technician. Is it true that only a very few lucky get to turn 31? It depends on very few, and it depends on if you believe that those who got aborted, you know, count. What's the most exotic food I ever eaten? Camel. What would you do if you got asked you didn't know I was 31 years old? I don't know. What do you do with your life? You try a lot of things. You try a lot of things in your life and you figure out what you like and you don't like, and you just kind of move from there. That's one thing people do without thinking, but is very regretful afterwards. I think the most common thing is they fall in love with someone that they know that's not good for them. How did my parents react when they found out I was 31? They were surprised. You heard some of Americans most uneducated are in California? I have never heard of that alphabet. Feeling drained in school and work? Okay, so now I have some context, Min Min. You said that you're asking for how to improve your mental health when you're balancing school and work because you're busy between school and work. Honestly, it's hard. First off, I just wanted to say I'm proud of you for acknowledging this debacle you have. I understand that, I don't know you personally, but I understand the importance of having to go to school and having to provide for yourself or providing for someone in some capacity. So it is definitely understandable that you are feeling drained, you feel like you don't have energy. So my advice is to cut yourself some slack. As much as you want, I don't know if you're like a straight A student or how many hours of work you work. It's okay to be mediocre sometimes. Okay? You don't, it's nice. I'm really proud of you for striving for perfection or striving for whatever standard you're going to, but you need to allow yourself to breathe. If you are constantly, you know, putting the standard of yourself higher and higher, you're essentially creating this unrealistic reality for yourself and trying to attain something that is unmanageable. So give yourself some slack, give yourself some time to breathe. I'm really proud of you, and just acknowledge for what you've done. Now, am I saying to just completely like stop? Depends on, I guess, how bad it is affecting your mental health. Like if you are thinking of self-harm or you're thinking of doing something really bad. Oh no, I just said my parents were surprised, Jalen, because I'm reading the comments so fast, and for those silly questions, I just don't care. So I just answer whatever. But yeah, Min Min, I'm really proud of you. I know you don't know me. I know I don't know you. But coming from, an Asian family who very much wanted me to be, a doctor or a lawyer. I ended up becoming an engineer. The way I've handled it is just to know that I've done all that I could have done at that time, you know, trying to be in your shoes of doing school and work at the same time. And that I have lived that life and I've grown from it. So although you may have feel like you've taken a step back, but maybe that step back was what you needed to, realize and take notice what's important. Filipino is Asian. Biggest regret? Biggest regret. Biggest regret. I sold Tesla options before it skyrocketed. I lost 64,000 during the pandemic. I knew a Bitcoin when it was only $10 per Bitcoin. Do I think being delusionally ambitious is bad? No. Honestly, if you can be delusionally ambitious, do it. Now, it's only bad if you don't put any effort behind your ambition. Like, if you say that you want to be a millionaire, you want to have nice cars, but you are just absolutely lazy, that is bad. And the Philippines is part of what continent? What continent is the Philippines part of? Thanks, Ricardo. Like life choice and stuff, then not dating. The Philippines is not a continent. So, yeah. I've been single my entire life and just not being open to dating as often as I should have when I was younger. What's Atlantic? Atlantic is an ocean. That's not a continent. You know, Sad Mountain, I'll give you at least 1 point that you're trying to regulate me. But you need to improve. But what if you're too focused on your dreams to date? That's fine. I'm not projecting my, regret onto you. I'm just saying based on my own experience, based on that question, that they wanted more specific on my life choices and stuff. For me, in hindsight, at least, is dating. Now, if you want to follow your dreams first, focus on your dreams, by all means, do that. Have you ever been peer pressured into something I regret? Honestly, no. I've never smoked, vaped, done any drugs, like weed or anything. Peer pressured. Actually, yes. Something I do remember, but it's a long story. It's regarding my greatest heartbreak. Read your last comment. Are Filipinos also Hispanic and Pacific Islander? I mean, they might be partly Hispanic. I don't have a beard even if I don't shave. I am 31. Oh, hey Hannah, how are you? I hope you're doing better. I hope you feel better. Am I actively looking to date since I say I've never have? Yes, but it's also not a priority. So currently, I got laid off from my dream job 2 years ago. And honestly, the first 9 months, I took it for granted. I just did what, I took a long vacation. And then when I started trying to get back to the workforce, trying to do interviews, I did a lot of interviews, didn't do well. Did well on some, then got completely ghosted. And it completely destroyed my, I guess, morale in trying to find good work. I mean, I work now, but it's not to the same caliber or even near to the same, like, pay grade. So to me, my priority right now is to stabilize my life. As much as it would be nice and it would be fun to date, it is not it's not a priority. I'm sorry to hear that, Chantel. It sounds like you're talking about situationships, or even in those scenarios where like you never dated, but you feel heartbroken. How do I look so young? Genetics. I'm doing all right, Hannah. Oh, never do I. No, when I say heartbreaks, it was mostly friendship heartbreaks. As far as romantic heartbreaks, I mean, sure, I liked certain girls in high school and college, But oh my goodness. Bye, Hannah. I just remembered the way I confessed to the girl I liked in high school. I need to make a video about that. That just reminds me because everyone's going back to school. Something that every boy in high school or every guy in general should never do. And this is a canon event, and every woman or every girl I've ever spoken to about this, they all said this happens to them and they hate it. Do I stream every night? No. But as far as like romantic heartbreak, I don't think I've really ever had true romantic heartbreak. Did I go live every day? No. I used to, but not anymore. Sam Davis, if your purpose is just to do that, just be in an environment where that's accepting. My current job is babysitting and cable technician. I have been to Universal Studios. I do know I talk monotone. I think that's what you meant, monotone. Do I like my current job? No. Although babysitting my niece is very fulfilling. It's honestly one of the things where it has prevented me from feeling like depressed, because then seeing her all the time, because she's not even 2 years old yet. She's a bundle of joy. Very, very energetic, but, very happy. How did I recover mentally after getting dropped from my dream job? Honestly, when I got laid off, I haven't like cried about it. If anything, I was a little bit relieved because I was burnt out. I was wearing multiple hats in my job. My official um, title was software engineering manager, but not only was I doing that, I was also a tech lead. I was also a scrum master. I was also in the culture committee for the organization, just doing a lot of jobs. And I was working overtime without getting paid because I was just salary. Um, so I was a bit relieved. But when I did get laid off, it was I did not see it coming because all of my peers, my supervisors, they always complimented me on the work I did. And also, right before I got laid off, I just released like the latest cash flowing revenue maker for the company. Like, I was the one who led the engineering and design for it. So I was completely taken off abat. Wait, abat? That's not a word. Taken off aback. So the way I kind of got over it was, honestly, I think I just been in a great environment where I have supportive parents, I have supportive people, and I will say the thing that has brought me down is simply these interviews where I do very well. I'll talk to the founder, I'll talk to the CEO, the owners, and it sounds like everything's going well. The conversation exciting. I'll have these interviews where we'll go overtime because we are just enjoying each other's company and also just like, you know, kind of like just shooting the shit. And it just feels nice. But then all of a sudden I would get ghosted, and then that would destroy my morale. Like, I thought there was something. I thought I had hope, and then all of a sudden it's just dead. Um, but yeah, just being active, continuously doing things. I think I just been also again in a situation where, because I've received so much support, I have never been in a time where I was doing absolutely nothing. In the time I have essentially been laid off from my dream job, I've been to Paris, I've been to different parts of Spain, like Barcelona, Madrid, Alicante, Malaga. I went to the Bahamas, I went to Miami. Um, and this is only this year, by the way. I also went to Mexico last year. The year before that, I just I went to Vegas a lot. But yeah, I'm just very thankful and very grateful, very appreciative for the environment and the people who surround me and support me. Thanks for the follow, Rock Lover. I am not an accountant. My dream job was, or what? Yeah, I guess was, a software engineering manager. The law of Talos? No. Advice on driving? If you are a new driver, make sure you check your mirrors. Before, you drive your car, you have to make sure that your headlights and tail lights work, if you don't know that already. Honestly, I'm not really sure on specific advice on driving. I would need to have something more specific. Makubi. What time do I think I'll sleep tonight? Hopefully within the hour. I don't know who Chris Chan is. How to stop missing her? It really depends on why you guys broke up or why you guys stopped seeing each other. What happened? What do you do in your life? A teenager is crazy. As much as looking youthful is a compliment, I actually do not want to look like a teenager. But I'll take it as a compliment. It's 11:18 p.m. I'm eating chocolate soup. Or chocolate rice soup. I can't really show you. Very good. It's one of my favorite desserts. Views are not as great, but it's not horrible. Am I actively looking to be a software engineering manager again? Yes, but honestly, I'm trying to pivot to product management. So remember when I said I was wearing multiple hats? I joined the company when there was no product department at all. So I was also helping in project management and product management. So when they were building out the product department, I very much enjoyed creating the success metrics or KPIs, doing reports, and being kind of more obsessed with the product and learning the value rather than simply just coding. I enjoyed mentoring juniors, but the one things that I'm having trouble with, Rock Lover, is because my job as a software engineer has now been over 2 years now, because I got laid off, the last day of May 2024. It's been a long time since I've coded. Like, I still understand the theory and know how to do certain things, but as far as being comfortable in the code, I know I very much lack in that department. So I'm trying to pivot into product management. I mean, I'll still do interviews for a software engineering manager, but my confidence has dwindled since then. I have seen the annoying orange. You asked me this question last time, Alphabet. Yep. Tuna fish, I would say the best way to have a conversation if you don't like talking is just ask questions about themselves. People love talking about themselves. So if you're ever at a time where, oh, I don't want to say that much, just ask questions. Oh, so, what do you like about blah, blah, or um, why did you decide to blah, blah? People love to talk about themselves. 6, 7? No, I wouldn't eat camel again. Camel meat did not taste great for me. I don't like creepypastas. No, I've never had iguana. I don't even think I know a place that sells iguana meat. I have had alligator and crocodile before though. Yes, I've banned multiple people in here. Not me, not only me as a host, but also my mods. Yes, I mean, maybe they took that as offensive. Thanks, Exodia. Is Exodia your favorite Yu-Gi-Oh card? Hey Tev 4K. I'm not Korean. I'm Filipino. No, I don't know who that is, Alphabet. Okay, just letting you know, Alphabet, I feel like a lot of your questions, although I have entertained your questions for for many days, for many weeks, maybe even many months. Honestly, I'm getting kind of tired. Yes, of some of the most ridiculous questions, and also a lot of repetitive questions. I am really 31, Dream Latte. Sorry, Dream Lele. I'm straight, Xavier. Any advice for people not 31 yet? My advice is to pursue higher education. Biggest regret? Losing $64,000 in one day during the pandemic. Am I 32? Not yet. So are you acknowledging that you are asking them questions, Alphabet? Do I regret my career choice? No. Do I feel pressure from anything in life still? Um, I do feel pressure in having kids. Like, this is just also pressure just for myself, where it in my timeline, I always wanted to have kids where when they are, when I'm raising my kids, I'll still be young enough to, spend time with them and have energy to play with them. So this is a self-imposed pressure for myself. However, I also am acknowledging that it might not be feasible given the economy and given how expensive kids are. I'm 31. Um, and also given that I'm not dating anyone, nor do I have any marry, I guess, candidates that I would want to marry. So in like just playing like devil's advocate with myself, I put myself in a predicament where if I don't change my life or improve my life drastically soon, then the chances of me having kids is becoming less and less. What's my type is a real question. My type is a biological woman, so a cisgender female. I mean, I can always adopt, but I've always wanted to have my own blood-born child. Oh yeah, definitely rock lover. That's something I look for in relationships. So not only when I mainly date to marry, but I've only sort of recently been convinced of dating just to date. But in short, for dating to marry, I'm looking for characteristics of not simply of, whether they would be a great mother, but also if they would be a great partner. I feel like a lot of people they get entrapped by dating someone who enjoys being a parent more, or who enjoys, or rather has a goal of being a parent more than being a partner. I mean, I have to say a biological woman because I mean, I live in Los Angeles. I live in California. I I just have to say that. But yeah, so I feel like a lot of women in general, they have this idea where they want to be a mother, but because they've never been, of course, in those shoes of actually becoming a mother, they kind of underestimate how much stress and how much responsibility comes with um, being a mother, being a parent, and the whole nuance of you know who you date is very much different when they are pregnant. And I'm trying to kind of just condense my answer, but I very much am aware and agree with if I were to ever have a kid that it would need to have both a father and mother, which in this case, obviously, I would be the father, and there would be need to be a maternal figure. Is there anything to us? Are you cooked? I mean, I don't think so. Why do your parents sleep in separate rooms? I don't know your parents' relationship. I mean, depending on your culture, it could be a certain way, but I have no idea. Beef missile. What's something I wish I had started in my teens or even a year ago? So I've been single my entire life despite being 31. So I regret not being more open or being more casual with dating. Bro, unk, according to Urban Dictionary, being an unk starts at 35. You got a strong feeling like I'd be a great partner. Thanks, Exodia. I mean, I'm very, I would say, inept is not the word. Apt. I am very aware of what I should be doing and how I treat people, regardless if it's someone who I know or someone who I don't. But I understand my responsibility as a father, as a parent, as a person to someone I have brought into this world. That I have responsibility for taking care of them and guiding them. What is the best advice, in my opinion, to give someone who isn't sure what career they want to do? My best advice is try many jobs. Like, maybe you didn't go to college yet. You know, get a job at McDonald's, get a job as something in retail, meet a lot of people, see what you like doing, what you don't like doing. Maybe you end up finding that you like doing sales. Maybe you find out like you don't like handling customers face to face. So now you're narrowing down the types of jobs, the type of careers that you can have. So, for example, I know working in McDonald's might not seem, you know, quite mm, like quite of an opportunist, because then it's something that anyone can do. But you will find out whether you have the social battery for it. You'll find out if you like doing that line of work. You'll find out the types of people you interact with, and whether there's certain characteristics of that job or of that career path that resonates with you. And all the things that you like doing, you pick that out from that job or from whatever you're doing, and you look for careers that simulate or has those characteristics. um I haven't watched Netflix lately, so no idea. If you fail high school, will you make it? If you don't have at least a GED, your chances of making it is very slim. Why am I from Los Angeles? Yeah, because as far as I know, for McDonald's, you need to at least have a GED. Like most places require at least a high school education. Can you attend community college even if you don't have a bare minimum, a GED? So I want to say no, but I'm not sure. I mean, I'm sure you could probably take classes, but you won't get a degree. But I'm not sure. Why do you do lives? I enjoy talking to people, to random people. High school is important, and not to belittle anyone's experience, but high school is also easy. Hey K Swift, long time no see, how are you? Oh, I know you can get into community college no matter your age, but in terms of can you get a degree without a GED? What should you do if you have glass stuck in your... No idea, go to the ER. Should you what? If you need to take extra classes, take it. Do you dual major and get a PhD in? Can you do that? I know there is dual majors, but I don't know if there's dual majors at that stage of a degree. I've only ever heard of a dual major for bachelor degrees. Am I trying to mog? No. I don't even know how to mog, bro. Do I like LA? Yeah. I mean, I've been to a lot of other places. But I also have a lot of family, and there's like never ever a time where if I'm bored, there's like nothing to do. There's always something to do. I'm not Muslim. No, prove it, show jawline. I mean, I am not mewing right now, and you can only see the jawline because of the shadow. I am really 31. No, 31 as in 25 plus 6. 3 times 10 plus 1. Archie is a child. Woman blue blop. I like Zelda, yeah. Even then, still a child. You don't turn from a child to adult overnight. Do you have any siblings? I have one older sibling. What age do I consider someone an adult? I would say 20 or 21, but also depends on your lived experience. It's a combination. What are my hobbies? I like going to grocery stores and trying new foods, especially foods of something I like but just a different brand. So, although this might be very, very niche, I like eating apples, and I love going to grocery stores and trying new brands of apples. And trust me, there is a ton of brands. You feel 25, but you don't know you're 25 when you talk to someone 25. I feel like you're getting too caught up with, you know, your identity of your age. Oh, definitely. It is expected of older people to be more mature. Unfortunately, it is not an absolute. Anything spiritual that I couldn't explain? Even like a supernatural experience? I've never played Elden Ring. To be honest, when I started streaming 2 years ago, I was supposed to play Elden Ring as the first game that I would stream because I've never played it. But yeah, I just never did it, and the audience for who wanted me to play it before no longer exists or doesn't come to my streams anymore. I am really 31. I am literally insane. One. I don't know what those emojis are. Ultimate troll. So I'm not filming on my phone. My phone is right here, and I'm streaming on a computer, a Windows computer. So whenever you guys use emojis, like it's hard for me to figure out what it is. No problem, Poye. In mine, everything was black except for a small window. What do you mean you zoomed into your mind? I don't understand what you mean by that, Ryan. It's not emoji, it's like saying it's like saying to someone when there's something good about them and don't want. I still don't understand. Literally insane. You can't explain, but it was nice. I do believe in Jesus Christ. So, as far as my religious ties, is Christianity. Hi, Anna. How are you? Can you believe it? It's about a month left. Less than a month. Yep. I just have those genetics. Do I think I should? No, I don't think so. Icky. This whole time I've been calling you Archie. You have no R in your name. Welcome in, Baby Bleed. Hey, M. James. Yo, that just reminds me. Anna is not my wife. Anna is just a moderator. Hey, M. James. You just reminded me, based on your name, that I need to set an appointment. It's going alright, bro. How are you? Life is kicking my butt, but, you know, I'm still pushing. Yes, I shower today. I shower multiple times a week. Hopefully a good movie, M. James. Nervous going, but also any tips? I don't know if you heard me say this earlier because someone basically asked for the same thing. Essentially, don't rely on AI. AI is simply a tool to help you facilitate your learning, but please do not, totally rely on AI to do all your work. I'm really 31, Joe. I mean, I do skincare, but definitely not consistently. The way I treat skincare is much different than most people. I only do skincare when I am targeting a specific thing about my face, or majority about my face. But it's mainly genetics. Should you switch careers? Why not? I am not a fruitcake. Oh. Yo, that's not a good movie. Sorry to hear that, James. Is it fine to use AI to help explain the material though? Yeah, it's okay to use AI. Like I'm saying, let's say for example you have to write an essay. Don't use AI to write your essay. Don't use AI to. I say the only time it's probably okay is if you're doing like math. But even then, when you're doing math, because there's really only one way or certain ways to, find the answer, you still need to understand. The reason why I'm saying don't rely on AI is because most people will substitute their learning for AI as a whole. Sorry to hear that, James. As a high school math teacher, that hurt to hear. I mean, I used Wolfram Alpha when I was in both high school and college. And I used it to help me learn how to do, certain, like specifically calculus. And if you are a student and you get the premium version of Wolfram Alpha, it shows you all the steps. So you don't just get the answer, you'll get how it arrives at the answer. Exactly, that's a good one. Pattern recognition is very important. Not just in math, but even like behaviors. Yeah, hold on, sorry. I need to make an appointment for tomorrow before I forget. Appointments. Service. Schedule. Hold on. I almost definitely said my number out loud. Continue. 12 p.m. Screen schedule. It says ask me almost anything, not any question. How old am I in months? So 31 times 12 is 372. I'm 378 months old. Yeah. 378 months. I am only 5'4". I'm proud of you, Anna. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus Christ. I believe in Jesus Christ as my Lord, God, and Savior. I believe He's the Son of God. I believe in the Trinity. My opinion on other religions, I don't really have opinions on other religions. Yo, what? Sounds so bomb right now. I'm a boy, Noah. What am I? Can surely a material worldview explain / justify the existence of an objectivity of logic? In my mind, no, but I would need to do research, Mr. Leiden. Yo, Bonry sounds good too. I'm 31, Blaze. Woman, Ashley. I mean, if it's deeper, it's... I don't know. Any advice for a 17-year-old? Well, I will say, maybe not advice, but just my word to you. As you enter adulthood, you are still young. I know you might feel old that, your childhood is coming to a close. But know that you have a lot of time. Your youth, your 20s specifically, is all about discoverability. So if you don't know what you want to be in life, what you want to do as in your career, or you just don't know in general, you're lost. My advice is to try a lot of things. Try a job that even if you don't like, maybe. And this is the reason why I'm saying this is that you learn through experience. So, for example, you might have an idea of what you want in a relationship, but until you are in that situation, in that relationship, you never truly know. Of course, I mean, there's certain things that you could know, but essentially, you might think that a perfect relationship would have certain check boxes, right? And then when you're in a relationship that has those check boxes, you figure out, oh man, I actually also enjoy this. I also like this. And then things that you probably said, I think I could um, be okay with. For example, maybe you said, let's say you don't smoke, and you would say you wouldn't be bothered as long as your partner's hot or very attractive if they smoke. And then you're put in that situation. Now you have experience, and you can decide whether that's something you actually enjoy. And when you get older, you align yourself with all the things you like, and you remove all the things that you don't like. I mean, banh mi is good though. Where so you think the stereotype of blonde women being came from? Mm, mm, I don't know where it came from. If I had to guess, it might have come from film. Because then the more I think about it, I think it's a stereotype that is often found in films, whether movies or a show. And then that gets portrayed to us or to the audience, and then people project that in real life. I do not feel like the same when I was 21. When I was 21, I was very immature. Now, as 31, I have a lot more social awareness and emotional awareness. Sorry to hear that, El Maui. What I mean by immature? I mean, I can only speak for myself. But as a boy, when I was 20, I always thought I was like invincible. I felt like I couldn't be touched, or I had a lot of control. So I would always put myself in situations where maybe it wasn't the greatest, most safest thing to do, but I thought I could handle it. And I'm sure like I did end up handling it or managing it. Um, but in hindsight, would I do that again? Maybe, but not under the same pretenses or in the same way. I feel like I'm more mature today than I was yesterday or last year. A few years ago, yes. Yesterday, not so much. I feel like that's a very common fear mode to fly. People fear the fear of being seen, especially online, is because then trying something new, something that you're unfamiliar with, feels uncomfortable. And it's only uncomfortable because it's new to you. So for example, there is this whole saying where, people who are more successful typically wouldn't dog you for trying. And what I mean by this, let me use an example. Let's say you want to start a business. Let's say you want to start a dog grooming business and you are trying. Maybe your parents or your siblings or your peers says, I don't think it's going to work out. I think you are not going to succeed. But if you surround yourself with people who have had success in the area, they're going to encourage you. And my whole point of this is that you should only take advice from people you're willing to switch places with. Why would you feel so disheartened? Or, oh yeah, I mean, I guess you could feel disheartened, but why would you feel so sad or upset at someone who is telling you what you should do when in their place they're not doing anything better? So if someone is trying to teach me financial advice, but I look at their life and they are financially irresponsible, does that mean I should take their advice? Like, sure, there might be some truth to it, but most of it usually comes from insecurity. People love projecting their thoughts and their wishes onto other people. We want all of us to come together and unite and abundance of. Yeah, I agree, George. Is software engineering cooked? To a certain degree, yes. But in general, no. Alright, see you, Lena Law. Bye. I'm gonna end the stream in like a couple of minutes. Hey Neil, how are you? I'm straight. Fron 607 LOL. Hi Neil. Do I game? I'm playing a mobile game right now. I used to play Fortnite. I stopped playing Fortnite as of last month. But aside from that, not so much. I am looking for a new game to play though. How does it feel being older than Duke himself? I think Duke is older than me than by like 1 year. If you're talking about Duke Dennis, I think he's older than me by like a couple of months or a year. All right, Anna. I'm 31. My MBTI. Hold on. I think if I remember correctly, I am an INTFJ. Or no, EF. Hold on. Let me just look at my dating profile. I don't use this dating app, but this is the only place I remember putting my MBTI. I am an ENFJ. Baldur's Gate 3. I was supposed to play that like 3 years ago or 4 years ago, and then I just didn't. Is there anything newer than Baldur's Gate? Because I feel like Baldur's Gate at this point is like, what, 5 years old? Unfortunately, I'm only 5'4". I've been nerfed, bro. But it is what it is. Anyways, y'all. Yeah, I'm not really insecure about my height. I just say I've been nerfed or blah blah. Because I think to me it's more funny. But you know, if that disqualifies me from a woman who doesn't like me simply based on height, I mean, it's at least I save time. The stream was alright. My views, or at least metric, was not great. But in terms of how fun the stream was, it was good. All about gold trust. I just feel like because Baldur's Gate 3 has been out for such a long time now, that it's hard to be like a top player. Like, I used to be a whale when it comes to gaming. So, like, I don't mind buying things. But I definitely don't have the capability or resources to buy as much as I used to buy. Fable? That sounds familiar. Advice for a 28-year-old? Are you going through your quarter life crisis yet? Or are you experiencing it? Quarter life crisis is characterized by feeling left behind, feeling unaccomplished, um, comparing yourself with your peers, and feeling less valuable. You're going through that right now? My quarter life crisis was between the ages 26 to 28. Honestly, I don't know exactly how I got, out of it, but I do know that it got resolved when I was working on myself, when I was going through a heartbreak. The specific heartbreak was a platonic heartbreak. I was going through a friendship heartbreak. I was very much a people pleaser. I often, put myself in comparison to my peers, and because I wasn't making as much money or having the same luck in dating or the same luck in whatever, I felt less than, or I felt like I'm not doing enough. So for me, how I got over that was working on myself in isolation. Now, I feel like this only was good for me because, I was extroverted, so working in isolation could be seen as something as an avoidant would do. But because I was so focused on improving my life and improving how I felt about certain things, I ended up feeling better as an outcome. And what I mean by this is that I had fear of abandonment issues and attachment issues and people pleasing tendencies. And because I always needed that validation, that need for attention or um, approval, I always felt like I, you know, needed someone there. But because of the isolation period and working on myself, I learned that my value is not tied to, you know, people, or it's not tied to, I was born 1995. It's not tied to, um, whether I was in a relationship or not, or how many friends I have, or how much money I have. Hey, Mui, how are you? Did you finally dye your hair? So my advice is simply is to be comfortable around yourself, being comfortable with who you are and acknowledging your value intrinsically. I'm okay. How are you? I am absolutely sure I am 31. What's my skin product? Currently, there's only 2 products I use right now. One of them, it's called Dr. Malaxin, the white one. I don't remember what it's called. There's a white one and a black one. I mostly use the white one. And the other one, I forgot what it's called, but it's like this thing to remove blackheads. Have you ever played For Honor? Like honor as in the honor system, or is that a game? How do you ask someone out? You just work on your confidence, bro. Asking someone out is simply courage and confidence. Free Palestine. Free Congo. Free Sudan. Free America. Bro. Welcome in Naruto Uzumaki. What is your ninja way? Oh, I'm glad you like how your hair turned out, Mui. Sorry to hear that, Mui. Hi, Fernelli. How are you? Oh, you changed your profile picture again. Yo, Fernelli. Tomorrow will be day 700 days of you following. Today it says you're at day 699. Am I happy with my current job? No. See? Followed for 699 days. Foya, you have 553 days. No. Life is not over when you turn 30. There's much more bigger problems than turning a new decade. I would say your financial situation is more important than the age. Unless like you're turning, 80 or 100. Muichiro, you are at day 669. Can I vaguely tell? Well, my current job is only part-time and it's also very new to me. Essentially, I work at a data center, or at least it depends on the project, but currently a data center. I install the machines, the servers, and wire the machines from one server to another, or one machine to another. I am not married. I mean, snakes to me are scary. They're cool, but scary. I would like to get married in the future, yes. But also, snakes are hard to take care of. They're also expensive. You are getting filtered, star. You can see if you get filtered if scrolling to the next stream and scrolling back and seeing if your comment is still there. Why don't I hit the gym? Because I'm lazy. And if you're the old dad, how about me, bro? Well, I am 31. in 1995. If I do, would I be scared of being married? I hope not. I wouldn't be choosing the woman to marry out of fear, but out of love. And hopefully, I would make the correct decision. And when I'm in that relationship, in that marriage, it would be beneficial for both of us, and it will also be rewarding. I've been alright, finale. Honestly, not really great this past week, but I am definitely better now. Currently a cable technician, Mouse House. Ideally a woman of God, yes. Did I ever talk about what happened on stream? No, it's too personal. Sorry to hear that, Moe. Hey, Hector. Or the person who loves Hector. I mean, I'm not like 100% better because I think I've been getting like these anxiety attacks, and I'm pretty sure it's because of that. Even though in my mind I am like over it, but I think my anxiety is telling me otherwise. Old Haggai, you are getting filtered. I believe in Jesus Christ as my Lord, God, and Savior. I go to church some Sundays. The last time I went to church was not this past Sunday, but the previous Sunday. No, Foy, I would not. What will happen next week? Don't know. Next week is not guaranteed. Hi, Keyham. I should put a timer. Thanks, boy. I'm gonna end the stream in like 5 minutes. You think it's wise as a Christian to sign a marriage contract? It depends. It really depends. If you're talking about a prenup, yes, it's fine. But it depends on what type of marriage contract. What does it entail? You're a bit lost right now as you just graduated and you're not sure if you want to go to college. Any advice? This is a very common question on my stream, Cam. So I understand you feel lost. You might not feel like what you want to do as a career if you want to go to college. Your best bet and my advice, regardless if you go to college or not, is to try a lot of new things. Try to get a license. Try a new job. Try different jobs. Try meeting new people. Try dating different people. The whole point of your young adult years, specifically your 20s, is all about discoverability. You discover yourself. You find out the things you like, the things you don't like. You understand more about yourself. You can never understand truly what you enjoy or what you like or what you don't like until you are in those shoes or you're in that situation. And the advice or the example I always give is relationships. You learn a lot when you're in a relationship with someone, whether it's as friends or romantically. You might have a checklist of things that you want in a relationship, or you might have things that you might be okay in a relationship. For example, I mean, assuming you're a guy, maybe you want to have, a really attractive woman. But let's say this woman, or what, I don't know what you're into. Let's just say this person is not, or is like, I want to say drug addict, but like is super into weed and you're not into weed. And maybe in your eyes, you might be fine with it as long as she or he is super attractive. Now, until you are in that situation, you can fully understand whether you actually enjoy it or not, or you're actually something you're okay with. Same thing with a job. Maybe you inherently don't want to do customer service because of all the rumors you've heard about it. But until you're in the shoes, until you have experienced it yourself, you truly don't know. The expect contract signed with the government that makes you legally married. I think it's fine, in my opinion, Trick Pat. Because then I think, as far as I know, in terms of taxes and things that you can qualify for as being legally married, that contract is binding to be to prove eligible in those certain circumstances. Thanks for the follow, stars. How do adults be paying taxes? You pay taxes every time there's a transaction. And when there's a transaction where you are being paid, you need to keep track of how much you get paid. And if you're not keeping track of how much you get paid, there could be different reports. So your employer reports to the government how much they pay certain employees, and you need to report how much you get paid also to the government. Now, if you're self-employed, it can be a bit trickier, but if you do get audited, it's gonna be very messy and something you don't want to happen. So I want to say, don't commit tax fraud. Be honest and just pay what technically we are agreed to. Yeah, no problem, Kiam. Live streaming is not my full time. I don't think the last time I streamed was like a week ago. Anyways, y'all, my countdown is already 0. Hopefully I'll stream again tomorrow. If not tomorrow, sometime this weekend. Yeah, I'll be on Discord. So if you have any questions, my DMs are always open. I do read all my DMs. I do respond to all my DMs unless it's like really, really weird. Thanks for the dolphin, bro. I appreciate you, Keyham. I do answer all my messages on Discord, though. I do have a Discord community. If anyone wants to join, you can find it on my profile. I am struggling in making content, but I'm definitely making much better progress than before. So if you have any ideas of types of content or types of things that you want me to discuss, whether on streams or as a video, just letting you know, shoot me a DM on Discord. I am there. Thanks for the follow, Kiham. I appreciate you. There you go. It is 12:20 in the morning for me. I'll see you guys later. Bye, y'all.